While watching the NASCAR Race Day show this morning on the awful Fox Sports 1, they were playing around with some scenarios, and one of them involved team orders in NASCAR, which are supposed to not exist. But they brought up some interesting possibilities. Casey Kane has no wins. He is fighting for the last berth in the chase, assuming he does not win a race between now and the end of the Richmond race, I guess you call it the run to the chase. Now you have the other three Hendrick cars that are locked in the chase. Literally pretty much locked in, if not they last I heard, and this could have changed, they only have to make a qualifying attempt at the rest of the races leading up to the chase, and frankly that could have changed by now. You know, this is being made after the Pocono race, and of course you can see the hat I'm wearing and why. But they brought up, and it made me think about some things. And they could not discuss this on the radio. Everybody monitors your car to pit radio. Fans, other crews, NASCAR. You know, I have a scanner. I've also got a set up subscription service from NASCAR.com at RaceView Track Pass where I can either scan all drivers, scan NASCAR. Usually I stay on Dale Earnhardt Jr. But can you imagine the fallback if Dale Jr. is leading, or the fallout, I'm sorry, if Dale Jr. is leading Richmond and Casey Kane's second and can't catch him, if they come on the radio and say, pull over and let Casey win, get him in the chase. Well, I wouldn't do it, but I'm sure there would be some scanners on the racetrack, or at least busted in the stands, which is dumb, I understand that. But let's look at another possibility. Matt Kenseth has not won a race this year. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he falls out, drives for Joe Gibbs Racing, as does Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. That he's in the same situation, and Kyle Busch is leading Richmond already with a win, and Matt Kenseth is second, and they need to get in the chase. What do you think Kyle Busch would say if they ask him to pull over to let Kenseth get in the chase? I don't think he'd do it, and he shouldn't do it. I don't like Kyle Busch, but I would totally agree with him on that point. But it made for some interesting discussion on, if you watch the show now, it made for some interesting talk between Kenny Wallace and Jeff Hammond, but I don't see it happening. I mean, you can look at all kinds of things. Let's just say that Almirola, who has a win, though rain shortened, at Daytona in the Firecracker, whatever they're calling it now, I'm old school. I still call it the Firecracker 400. But, and, what's his name? Ambrose is running second, which is unlikely, but do you ask him to pull over? Roush, same deal. Let's say that Edwards, who is a lame duck driver at Roush, is leading with either Biffle or more than likely Biffle running second or even Stenhouse Jr. running second. Do you ask your lame duck driver to pull over? Now, this would have to be discussed before the race. They would have to use code on the radio because, like I said, everybody monitors your radio. I've said this before. I don't care for Formula One because there's rampant team orders in Formula One. I do remember reading some stories about NASCAR in the 50s and Carl Kiekhaefer, multi-car team owner of the Mercury Outboard team, once supposedly, and I don't know if this is true, once hired Lee Petty, Richard's father, Kyle's grandfather, for one race and told him he was going to finish second. Well, that was the only race Lee Petty drove for Kiekhaefer, if it's true. Because Lee Petty was old school. He wasn't going to take a backseat to anybody, nor should he. He's a racer. He's out to win. That's what he should be doing. It's just been my opinion, and I hope it never comes to that. I was really disappointed with some things were done at Richmond last year team-wise. I frankly thought it kicked Truex out of the chase. I also thought Logano, because they made a deal for him to pass one of the front row cars, should have been kicked out, and Boyer for that for that spin. I thought he should have been kicked out, to be honest with you. But they only kicked Truex out. But be interesting to see if it does happen. And if somebody pulls over, you're going to be able to tell it. You're going to be able to tell it some way, somehow. But NASCAR's instituted the 100% rule, so who knows what will happen.